back to yet another episode of the Graduate Series podcast. I hope that you've been enjoying these episodes. We're almost at the end of the season, so if you haven't watched any of the episodes, please be sure to check them out. But on today's episode, I have Deba. Deba is quite literally the epitome of a person who wears so many different hats. She is a compliance onboarding team leader. She's a content creator and a super mom of three. She does it all. In today's episode, we talk about the realities, the challenges, but also the beauty of motherhood. Deba also reflects on her journey having lived in Nigeria, moved to Italy, and now being in the UK, and how those experiences have shaped who she is today. So, without further ado, get your cuppa, get comfortable, and let's get into today's video. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Graduate Series. I am Rafaela, and I'm here today with my beautiful, fine, so smiley mama.
Okay.
Deba.
All right.
Hey sis, how are
Hello.
you?
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. I'm so excited for today's conversation
Me
because I feel like
too.
we're gonna dive into so much. But I want to give you an opportunity to first introduce yourself
Okay.
properly without my accolades and all that.
My name is Deba. I'm a wife, a mom of three, and a compliance team lead.
Amazing. I am so excited for the conversation today because I feel like, previously the graduate series used to be about people talking about their experiences getting into like their industry, the work that they do. But I've kind of shifted it a little bit more and we're evolving. And so I wanted the graduate series to also cover people who are navigating different transitions in their lives, because life is continuous.
Yeah.
My friend always laughs when I say that, but life is continuous until obviously it's not. But for now, it's continuous, and so you
It's
go
always
through
evolving.
different seasons, etc. And so I feel like you are going to be such a good person to speak to about that because, as you said, your mom, your wife, you've navigated different seasons. So I'm intrigued to know how that has played a part in who you are right now at present, but also how that has affected your work and stuff. But prior to us getting into the chat, wanted to have some little icebreaker questions,
Okay.
lighten up the mood because I know that you said there was a lot of traffic getting here.
Yeah.
So at least get a little braver.
Yeah.
So my first question for you is, what is the best thing about motherhood?
Oh, wow. The best thing about
Yeah.
motherhood. That's interesting. So many things. Okay. I've always been someone who wanted kids. I've always loved kids. If I could, I would have 6, 7. But the economy is not smiling at us. So let's stop at 3. But I'd say the best thing is just watching them grow, just watching that tiny little baby grow into a toddler, and then they start talking, they start calling you mommy, and they start saying I love you, and the butterflies. It just, I think for me that's just the best thing, just watching them grow into like with their own personality, having their own. Just being their own person is it's amazing being able to experience that.
That's beautiful. It is a blessing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then my second question is, you have lived in a few countries.
Yeah.
You're very much so international. What do you think is one thing that you've learned from, migrating to different countries?
So like you said, I've lived a lot. I've moved around a lot.
You've even traveled a lot.
Yeah. So I was born in Nigeria and I moved to Italy when I was 13, 14. And so that for me, that transition for me was a lot. Coming from, a different culture, different background, food, you name it. It was testing, I would say. Italy is a beautiful country, amazing people, but they can be quite racist. Let's be honest with ourselves. And so I experienced that being a teenager growing up in the country, being the only black girl in my school, the only black girl in my church, the only black girl in our street. We're pretty much the only black family in our surroundings. So a lot of people weren't used to seeing black people. And so that was quite, I guess, a challenge growing up in that environment where you're not being accepted, you're not being wanted. People say in your face directly, go back to your country. I don't want you here. You piece of, So that was quite an experience. But I think that also created the person I am today, having tough skin and being just determined to not necessarily be liked, being my own person, being okay with just being with me.
Exactly.
Because for a long time, it felt like I was begging for, you know, friendship, begging for belonging, begging for just to be accepted. You know,
Yes.
being a teenager, you
Yes.
just want to be part of whatever the group is. But I was never, you know, allowed into the group. So at one point I just decided, you know what, I'm okay with myself.
Yeah.
Love yourself. And so I
Okay.
think that has created the woman that I am today, just being happy and content with the woman that I am, the person that I am, without necessarily wanting outside validation, if that makes sense.
That's amazing. And you know what? I feel like I can really resonate with that because I've lived in like a few countries as well. And as you said, certain countries, you do experience a certain level of like hostility and not being accepted. And I never actually put two and two together. But what you've just said about being comfortable in your own skin, knowing who you are,
Yeah.
and not needing validation is like something that I never like. I've recently realized I've gotten to that stage, but I didn't realize that yes, those experiences
They would
probably
shape you
shaped
into that. They would definitely shape you into that. And then I moved to the UK 6 years ago, 2019 to be specific.
Okay.
My intention coming here was just because my parents were here before I came.
Yeah.
So I had to stay back in Italy to get my passport.
Okay.
And so my parents came here before me because they already got their passports. I was back in Italy, you know, working and whatnot. And so once I got my passport, my mom was like, you know, come here, come find a job here. You know, let's all be together as a family.
Yes.
To be honest, I never liked the UK. I never wanted to be in the UK. I wanted to go to Spain, you know, the sunny tropical islands. Yeah. I wanted to go to Spain, but my mom was like, no, let's, you know, come in, family. I was like, okay. I can't just say no without trying. So let me go, see what it looks like, pretend to look for a job, and then after 6 months, I'll be like, you see, there's no job. I need to go.
Yeah.
I came here January 2019. May 2019, my husband found me.
Wow.
Slid in my DM. No, actually, to be fair, there was some sort of introduction between mutual friends, but he was very persistent to like want to meet me. And I was like, I'm not here to meet any guy. I'm here to pretend to find a job and then not find it and then go to where I want to actually go, which is Spain. So don't waste my time. But he was quite, you know, very certain about what he wanted. He was like he didn't come trying to like be, you know, the playboy, whatnot. It was like, I want to marry you.
Wow.
What's your genotype? Let's do this. Do you get what I mean? So that's how it all started with him. May. And before you know it, bam, 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 bam. 6 years later, 3 kids.
Hey.
And so yeah, that happened so fast. Like I said, I didn't intend to stay.
Exactly.
But now I'm stuck.
But I think about, so in the midst of that, obviously, you still found a job.
Yeah.
You're in recruitment.
Oh no. So basically, I came in, like I said, I didn't want to find a job. But now that this guy is coming to my life, I kind of like him. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I might as well just, I might as well just find a job and stay, you know. I have a reason to stay now.
Exactly.
And so I studied linguistic and cultural mediation in Italy, which was basically interpretation and translation, which made sense back then. Being in Italy, studying languages, I could be a teacher, I could be a translator. There were different opportunities I could have done with my degree back in Italy. But having moved here, it kind of seemed redundant. It wasn't kind of necessary anymore. Maybe I could have found a job, to be fair, but I probably would have had to do like some sort of like specialistic degree or something in interpretation. I was done with schooling. I wanted to make money, you know, start my life. So I started looking into like jobs that don't necessarily require a degree, and that's when recruitment came up. So I started off as a recruitment, you know, officer, recruitment consultant, if you will. I didn't really like it much because it was very sales driven, very target driven. I didn't like the pressure that came with that. And so I transitioned from recruitment into more of like a compliance role. And
how easy was the shift there?
The reason I was able to do that was also thanks to my customer service experience from being a waitress 10 years back in Italy. So all my period in Italy, I was pretty much working as a waitress. So during the school holiday, summer holiday, weekends, you name it. Every opportunity I got, I worked as a waitress from like when I was 17 up until 27 when I left. So it was like on and off, on and off. And so those experiences, customer service, you know, dealing with difficult, you know, customers, racist customers, you know, kind of helped me now move from recruitment, which was more sales driven, into compliance, which is more customer service led, if that makes sense. And so it was easy to make that transition. I was in a company for 3 years. I had my 2 babies there. You know, I wanted to move up, but there wasn't like the opportunity to move up. So I then, apply for a new job, which is where I am today now as a compliance team lead, and I love it there.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, it's been
Okay,
a journey.
yeah, it has been a journey. And I like the fact that then nothing that you did was wasted because
Yeah,
you found a way to leverage that into then the next
always
role.
pivoting from one place. You can always, there's always, way to kind of leverage your experiences and
Exactly.
your just not just work experience but even life experience
Exactly.
into a different role, and you can always
Right.
pivot into something else. So yeah, that was pretty much that.
I like that. And then how did you go about, I suppose, knowing how to leverage your skills? Because obviously, for anyone watching here who wants to go into potentially compliance or who wants to go into recruitment, what was really helpful that you said is one, that you had looked at things that didn't necessarily require a degree. So that's starting point number one.
Yeah.
And then starting point number two, obviously, if anyone has any skills or experience or whatever else
that you could bring
exactly
to the role. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I said, for me, starting off coming to this country with no experience, like I said, I've only ever worked as a waitress all my life, so I had no corporate experience, any kind of no kind of experience. So I needed to find something that didn't necessarily require a degree. And like I said, looking into these, recruitment came up.
Yeah.
And I liked recruitment at the time because it seemed something you could potentially grow into, because I was always looking to grow, just get up the ladder, if that makes sense.
Yes, yes.
But then coming into recruitment, I realized it was too sales driven, too target driven, and I didn't like that. So at the time I spoke to my manager, I was like, I'm not really thriving. Not that I wasn't thriving, I was doing all right, but I felt the pressure was just too much. I didn't enjoy it. I was like, I know there's a compliance role coming in the compliance team. Can I apply for that? And she goes, what kind of experience have you got? Like I said, I didn't have experience. But having done recruitment is, again, dealing with candidates, getting them to apply for the job, getting them to come to the interview, just trying to sell the role, right? Whereas the compliance side of things is collecting the documentations that will allow them to do this job. So I didn't really know anything when it comes to like compliance or, the framework and all of that.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's got to do with talking to customers, right? Convincing them to send you these documents, because at the end of the day, we're dealing with, I work in the medical recruitment industry.
Okay.
So you're dealing with medical professionals, consultants, nurses, doctors. They've got busy schedules.
Yes.
So you have to be able to convince them to send you the documents to want to work. So you have to have a good communication skills, have sweet way to some level of negotiation, good customer service skills, because the way you talk to them is the way you're going to convince them to say, because you could talk to them in one way and they'll be like, okay, yeah, you could sweeten them up and they'll be like, yeah, or you could be like, no, can you not contact me anymore, you're being rude. So you'd have to know how to navigate each person, because everyone is different.
Yeah.
And so having that customer service background, I told my manager, I was like, I've got a customer service background. I feel like, I've come across a whole array of people in my life, different cultural backgrounds. So this, I should be able to, navigate this as well. They gave me the opportunity, had me started off, as a compliance officer, started doing it, learning about different types of documents you have to collect in terms of like medical industry, mandatory trainings and things like that. And before you know it, I started thriving in the role. Wow. And then I think 6 months after that, I then proposed to my manager. I was like, look, recruitment is fine and good. Compliance is fine and good, but I feel like there's a gap. We've got a gap between recruitment and compliance.
Right.
So what happens when you recruit the clinical leads, consultants, whoever, they don't necessarily have like what we call, this was literally a role that was created just for me at the time, because I came up with the idea.
Wow.
We need some sort of like a stage before going to the compliance side of things, which I would, at the time, we named it to be customer care service.
Okay.
Because the recruitment officer, they are getting back-to-back candidates. They don't really have time to like pamper the clients and just sweet them into like just the process. Yeah. It feels there's like a break that didn't feel right at the time. You just go there and tell them, oh, this is the job, it pays this, these are the hours, are you interested? Yes. Bam, go to compliance, go get document. There was some sort of like transition between recruitment and compliance that was missing. Yeah. So I came in and say, can we like cover this gap? Let's do something about it. I've got customer service experience. Again, this customer service thing kind of took me a long way. I've got customer service experience. Let's try to cover this gap where we could just transition them into compliance without them feeling like, oh, because once they get into the recruitment, okay, what's happening? What's the next stage? There's always these questions that recruitment guys don't have the time to answer. The compliance guys are like, you haven't been, transferred to me, so you're not in my pipeline yet. I have nothing to do with you. So
Exactly.
they're pretty much sitting there, and sometimes we kind of miss crucial opportunities with
Exactly.
clinicians that could have covered a shift because there was,
Yeah.
they got fed up and say, you know what, the system, the process is too tedious. I'm not interested. It's
And
not.
there isn't that like personal aspect as
Exactly.
well.
So I came in
Wow.
and suggested that. So we created what we call, customer care service. So I was like the bridge between the compliance and the recruitment guys. And I was like, and at the time we got, I'm not even going to toot my horn, we got over 70% of retention, increments in that period,
Okay.
because like I said, people were leaving because there wasn't really that transition, like
Yeah.
smooth transition into compliance.
Exactly.
And so they just felt like, nah, I'll go somewhere else. So once we had that role introduced, people were staying more because I was engaging them. Okay, oh, they'll call me, oh, what's the next stage, what's happening, I've done this.
Right.
Oh no, don't worry, this, that, and the other, this is going to be a compliance officer, I should give you a call in a few days, because there's so many candidates. You don't have the time to go from recruitment to compliance that quick.
Exactly.
So we needed that person who would keep them engaged before they eventually go into compliance. So that's what I was for like a year there, and then pandemic came in. When the pandemic came in, budget were a bit cut, both from the NHS, but from the company, and so that role was kind of made redundant, if that makes sense, because it was created out of nowhere. It wasn't a thing that existed before.
Exactly.
So it kind of got made redundant. So I had to go back to compliance.
Right. Okay.
And so that's how eventually I navigated through compliance after having, done all of that, and I went into, team lead position. And so yeah, that's pretty much my journey. Yeah.
And I guess what I've also heard from what you said is obviously the part about, being able to have the open and transparent conversations with a manager, not being scared to ask, but also being innovative and, forward thinking in the workplace to see what is there, because they were clearly able to make a role for you in that space. So how many people are sleeping on, a role that could be made for them because they're not quite as proactive. So that's amazing. And also obviously you shared how people can leverage their skills, which is really important. But now I would like us to kind of talk a little bit about balancing work and motherhood. You obviously say that you are a mom of 3.
Yeah, I'm a mama.
Yeah, exactly. You're a mom of 3, your wife. So that's a lot of like responsibilities and, a lot of work. And, some people often say that being a mommy itself is a job. So then imagine now having to manage work and everything else. So my first question is obviously, how has motherhood changed the way you see ambition, the way you see success, or even the way you see yourself?
That's interesting. It's been a journey. Like it happened. Everything happened so fast.
Yeah.
Because having 3 kids in the space of 3 years,
absolutely,
it's no joke.
Absolutely.
So if a lot of people would have like a kid, they would wait like 3 years, have the second. I feel like I've been pregnant since 2020 freaking one, like back to back.
And then you wanted 7 kids. You're gonna be one of those people where on Instagram, where they have been pregnant.
Listen, if not for the economy, if not for the economy and the fact that we don't have a village in this country, I actually would.
Yeah. Do you come from a big family?
I do. I do come from a big family. So I've always been used to like a lot of people around me. And so, my husband and myself will always want a big family. But that's the time. That's the time. Let's focus on raising these 3 for now. But in terms of how I've seen myself or how I've changed, within motherhood and just ambition and career-wise, I guess for a lot of people it could be, motherhood, wanting me to like also more and thrive and do that. For me, it's more, at least in this season of my life, I feel like I want to take it slow. I want to slow down. I want to pour into my kids. I want to nurture them. I feel like this stage, the 0 to 5 is like the crucial years where they need, you cannot, again, I'm grateful and I'm blessed to be able to do the work I do because I work from home as well.
Okay. I
didn't mention that earlier, but I work from home, so I'm able to be present and still be able to, support my husband, financially and whatnot. But ideally, I'm not interested in the career ladder no more. I'm not interested. Like maybe for now, eventually down the line, I could want to get back out there, and then once I get back out there, I have no problem scaling it and flying up. I know I'm confident in that. But just now,
that's what
I feel like my kids need me, and I just want to pour into them and nurture them. At least until they are like in school age. My first is going to be starting reception in September. So it's going to start school. And my second is going to start in nursery in January. I'm going back to work in January as well.
Wow.
But again, able to juggle motherhood and work because I
Exactly.
have the opportunity to work from home. If I had to go into the office 9 to 5, commute, leave the house 6
Absolutely.
o'clock or 7 to come back 7, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
What life is that?
Absolutely.
What's the point of bringing these kids into the world if you're going to have someone else raise them?
Yeah.
No offense to anyone who
Yeah, because some people
that's how
don't
they
have that
survive. You have
luxury.
to,
Yeah,
but like I said, I'm blessed to genuinely be
exactly.
able to have this job that gives me the opportunity to work from home. So I'm able
Exactly.
to still work and be present with my kids. But if I weren't, I think I most likely would just have taken a career break
Right.
and just pour into my kids for this, first foundation years before going
Exactly.
back in. But yeah, like I said, in terms of like the hustle and the I've calmed down a little bit in that
Exactly.
aspect. I'm a bit chill now because I love being a mom. I genuinely
Yeah.
love my kids.
Look
Yeah.
at the way you're glowing. That's beautiful. And I actually want to piggyback off something you said about, if you were in a position where you could taking a career break, and there's some women out there, obviously they don't have that
Option.
luxury and
Yeah.
that option to take the career break, or even to obviously not like to work from home. So then they very much so have to hustle.
Yeah.
Then you have some who actually genuinely want to go back to work.
Yeah.
And some people, the reason may be that, there's the pressure of like keeping up with what everyone else is doing. The workplace can be very competitive.
It is.
And you sometimes, depending on what sector you're in, what role you're in as well, you want to show yourself every single time, show that you're capable, so that you're not, like dismissed or whatever else, or your role is not made redundant or replaced.
I said earlier, I've been pregnant since 2021 back to back.
Yeah.
I was pregnant 2021, 2022. 2023, I had a miscarriage. Got pregnant again 2023. 2024, I had a baby. No, sorry. Got pregnant again mid 2024, and then I had the baby in 2025. Got pregnant again in 2025, had a baby in 2026. So I pretty much been pregnant back to back. And I've always had to prove myself in the workplace for different reasons.
My question. Okay, so what are the reasons?
So the first one, I got pregnant. I was in my previous company.
Yeah.
Got pregnant. Went on maternity for 6 months. Before I left, I had a different manager, different. I guess what's the word I'm looking for? CEO, everything, leadership. Came back from maternity leave after 6 months. Completely new managers, a new leadership, everything new. Now nobody knows me anymore.
Yeah.
All they know is this girl that just got back from maternity, the mom of the group.
Yeah.
Now I'm having to prove myself and say I'm worthy, I'm good, I know the role, I've been here the longest, I'm due for the promotion.
Exactly.
But again, I just got back, so now you have to show that you're capable of it. So I led a project, which we had to hire a team from Sri Lanka, because back then they used to like want to outsource these things.
Yeah.
But it kind of backfired. That's a story for another day. But they hired a team of 8 people from Sri Lanka who I had to manage and teach the role, teach the job. And we had like a project we had to lead. I led the project. We came out successful. That was good. I was like, there you go. I've proved myself. Can I get a promotion? Stories. And then I got pregnant again. Now I'm like, I can't leave because I need to be able to stay here because I need the maternity leave eventually.
Yeah.
But now it's like they're not looking at me like, oh, the pregnant woman, we can't really take it seriously, because I'm like, come on, but I'm good. I've shown you that I can do this.
Proven myself.
So now I left that company mid-pregnancy, going to a new company where I have to prove myself that I'm not just the pregnant woman.
Exactly.
I also bring something to the table. So I'm showing off. I'm bringing real impact.
Yes.
I go on maternity leave. Now I'm like, oh, I can't be gone for too long. I just started. I need to and they need to, and this is the role where I'm working from home now. So you're working from home. You don't really get to see people face to face in the office where they will actually recognize you and know it's just a screen.
Absolutely.
So but you have to make impact and be known and be seen. So I go back to work 6 weeks postpartum. I'm like, I cannot afford to stay longer because I want to prove myself.
Wow. Okay.
Come back to work. Now proving myself and saying that, yes, I've got a newborn, I've got a toddler, but this is not going to stop me. I can do it. Prove myself. 4 months in, got pregnant again. And I'm like, oh no.
They're definitely looking.
No, what are you going to say? What is the excuse are you going to give this time?
Yeah.
I couldn't even say I was pregnant for up until 3 months after. I think I was 6 months when I revealed I was pregnant because I was so afraid.
Yeah.
Again, they probably would have not judged me or made me feel bad about it, but it's just as a woman, I feel like every woman out there who is in the corporate world who's ever gotten pregnant knows what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
You do feel some kind of way. It's like
Absolutely.
you feel that internal judgment, even though you probably you're not being judged, but you just feel. So I was terrified of even like saying that I was pregnant up until like I was 6 months, and I was like,
oh,
I just found out I'm pregnant, so yeah, I'm gonna have to go on another maternity leave. And I was like, okay, now they're looking at you like, okay, now you see project that's supposed to like have your name in it being shift because they're, oh, don't worry about it, you're gonna be gone anyway. Oh, don't worry about it. So now you're feeling like some type of way because it's like, and so just having to prove. So now I'm gonna have to go back in January. So this time around, I took the whole year off because got 2 little ones. I had 2 babies in 1 year, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot afford to go back to work and be juggling two pretty much, 1 infant and a tiny toddler. Is only 15 months old now, my son, and juggling work. It's just I would lose my mind. And so I'm taking the whole year off, going back in January. By then, my second will be in nursery. My first is in school. My baby will probably be almost a year then. I normally don't put my kids in nursery until they're 2.
Okay.
So at least then they can like say a few words and, communicate somewhat. So having a baby at home is not going to be a problem because I can, navigate the little one. But again, when I go back, I have to start proving myself all over again. And it's just like, it's they constantly having to prove yourself. But like I said, I have no issue because I know my abilities. I know I'm good at it. I know what I can do.
Yeah.
But it's just this constant, pressure of having to show up and show people that you are capable and you're good enough. It's been a journey.
And so then my question for you then, for any woman listening, is what would be your advice? Because also sometimes we're our harshest critics. And so as you said, like, you feel that although they're not judging, you're saying that we judge you, you still feel a certain element of having to prove yourself and show why you're there. But my thing is then practically for any woman looking there, because that's a certain element of imposter syndrome, isn't it? Like you feeling like, exactly. So for women out there listening, what would you actually say if this was your younger sister? What would you say to her?
Don't overthink it. No one is judging you. Everyone is really, really accommodating, especially when you're pregnant.
Yeah.
Just keep doing what you're doing. Don't I know pregnancy is hard, especially the first trimester. So you might feel, you might kind of feel a little bit lazy in the beginning, but keep showing up.
Yeah.
Keep overachieving. Keep, just going above and beyond until that last day.
I love that.
And when you leave, make sure they remember you as, even though she was pregnant, she showed up. Even though she was pregnant, she always give 100. Always give 100 whenever you can. And for me, the way what that looked like for me, again, navigating pregnancy, toddler, and job and my job, I would sometimes finish my work at 5 p.m. and I would have to log back in again at maybe like 8 or 9 when my kid is sleeping, so I can catch up and work. So the next day I don't feel like I'm, rushing and and that was what I was doing just till the end.
Yeah.
Always give 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what
100%. But don't burn yourself out.
No, don't burn it. But like you wanna make them know that don't make them think you're weak.
Yeah.
You want to always show them that, again, that's if you're that kind of person.
Exactly. And then also a question for you, because you said you went back to work after 6 week postpartum. So would you do that again?
Oh hell no. I only did that because I had just started the company and I wouldn't be qualified for statutory maternity pay. Okay. And we all know maternity pay is trash. And so to not even be qualified for it and get the bare minimum, I just felt like, and then because I was working from home as well, that was also the reason I did. If I had to go to the office, there's no way I would have done that. Okay. But no, I don't think I would. I wouldn't advise anyone. I think in America, that's what they do though. They don't have a lot of days. So
they don't have a choice. At least that's one of the benefits we have here in the UK.
We can get the full year off. That's the good thing of the UK. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. So now I want to turn over to content creation and side hustles, because as well as being a mama, a wife, team leader, you're also a content creator.
I try. I'm trying.
I feel like who better to talk about balance than to you?
Listen.
So you actually have a YouTube channel and you used to create content online. Yeah. A mixture of vlogs and hair care. What inspired you to start creating content, and what was your desired impact with that?
So I started my YouTube channel back in 2019. 19.
Okay.
Yeah,
So when
just
you
when I
moved to the
moved to the
UK.
UK. Yeah, because I
Okay.
moved. That was when I started it.
Yeah.
It was more about my natural hair, just
Mm-hmm.
documenting my natural hair journey. I chopped off my hair back in 2013, but I was never able to like maintain it because I was busy with school, busy with
Right.
work. So I was never really like into the like hair care like that.
Mm.
So when I moved to the UK, oh, the only reason I wasn't also, let's mention this, being in Italy, you don't have access to a lot of black hair care because
That's true.
again it's a very predominantly white
Okay.
country.
Yeah.
Black people are like splatter here and there in the
Right.
country. There's
Right.
not many of us, so there's
Where in Italy
nothing
was it?
in up north in Venice.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so there isn't like access to like products, things like that. So I had to buy all my product, natural hair
Yeah.
product online, which wasn't cheap.
Exactly.
And so I didn't really have the time or the desire to like spend that much money on buying product
Mm.
online to do. So I just kind of didn't put much effort into my hair.
Okay.
But then when I moved to the UK, came here and seeing black people everywhere, seeing African shop everywhere, like I was like, listen, I can have fun with this.
Yeah.
And so I started buying, all the products that I've always seen online, people
Yeah.
using. I was like, look at that. And so I want to start experimenting. I was like,
Yeah.
why not film this? And I see
Yeah.
people do it online. If they can do it, I can do it.
Exactly.
And so I figured it out. I learned how to, film. I bought a camera. I think I had one of like those is it Canon? I can't even remember what Canon it was. I still have it somewhere there. Got a Canon camera, got a tripod, got a ring light, got my products, and then I was in front of the camera talking to myself and having fun with my hair. I was like, if they can do it, I can do it too. What's so
Exactly.
hard about it? And I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I was doing not just hair care in terms of like the wash and goes and the
Okay.
deep condition. I was doing hairstyles because I'm really good with my hair.
Yeah.
I was doing different hairstyles, braids, top buns, and this and that and the other. And I started doing like vlogs, just filming my, I like to travel at the time. I would travel to different countries and I'll film those as well. And I really had an amazing time. I think the last video I posted was actually my engagement video when we went.
Yeah.
My husband took me, well, my fiance then, my boyfriend then. How do you say? Well, he took me to Wales. This place called is it Brecon Beacon?
Okay.
In front of this beautiful waterfall. That was where he proposed. And so we vlogged the whole thing. And so that was the last video I posted. This was like 4 years ago. And I never posted since then because life has just been lifing. Motherhood has been mothering.
Yes.
Job has been, everything is just been back to back to back. But I'm really looking forward to going back to YouTube. Like this year, I'm on maternity now.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of going back, just starting with like, some sit-down videos, reintroducing myself.
Absolutely.
A lot of people probably forgotten
because
about
obviously
me.
you've changed
I've
as well
changed
a lot. So your
yeah.
identity has also evolved.
So yeah. So slowly, I'm looking to getting back into content creation. Yeah.
And I also love that obviously we talked about balance. And so sometimes what balance looks like is also being realistic with oneself and identifying that these are my priorities and this is what I can manage. Do, and this is beyond my bandwidth, so this will take a step back. And that's okay.
Yeah, that's what I've had to do.
Getting back to it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Raising kids is a full-time job on its own already. So
exactly.
Listen, the YouTube had to wait. It had to wait. As far as I enjoyed, because it was literally a creative expression.
Absolutely, yeah.
I loved it. Just editing and seeing myself, in the videos and engaging with the different people in the comments and all of that. I really enjoyed the whole thing. But like you said, it had to take a step back for a while. But I'm ready to come back.
She'll be back.
I'm ready to come back. Yeah,
she'll be back. And also, what I heard from what you were saying is, whoever is watching this, move to whatever town Deba was in because there's clearly a gap there for you to thrive in business, whether it's providing, the black hair care products or, just providing the services. So I love that. But okay, so now reflecting on your journey, reflecting on crossing the line and what you've learned so far, do you think that women are honest enough about how difficult balance can be? And what parts of yourself have you actually had to fight over time? When it comes to that balance? So you obviously talked about, we talked about, for example, even content creation and taking a step back, but are there other parts that you've had to fight with yourself, even if it's just that voice telling you to overperform, for example, at work, or that voice telling you can do more when you know that physically and emotionally and spiritually, like this is actually the limit and it's okay.
No, definitely. I feel like for me that would be my workplace. Just again, like I said earlier, just trying to constantly prove myself.
Yeah.
I'm good enough. I feel like, again, that imposter syndrome will always creep in as a Black person.
Yeah.
Again, coming from the background that I come from. Coming from the background that I come from, and now coming here, there's a lot of things that I'm able to do today that I had never envisioned myself being able to do when I was in Italy, because we were just so limited back there.
Right.
You know, even with a degree, almost, actually, it's not almost, second class upper I came out with.
Okay.
All I could do was waitressing.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
Unfortunately. So coming here and being able to like grow the way I've grown, for me, is just feel like I know there's more.
Exactly.
Like, but then there's motherhood, and you start thinking, wait a minute, like, let's prioritize things.
Yeah.
Let's be realistic about what's possible.
Yeah.
And again, I still want to be in the workplace. I still want to keep working, but I don't think I want to do it in the sense of, you know, just like like just that. You know,
you want to change to the pace.
I want to slow down. I want to take my time.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to move to the next. Like,
Exactly.
because like throughout my career in the UK so far, it always felt like I was looking for the next role, looking for the next opportunity, coming up with roles that didn't exist, just trying to, like, you know, be up.
Exactly.
And so now I feel like being a mom, you know, again, like I said, it's just for the foundation years.
Exactly.
I will eventually get back there and, you know, and start killing again. And I'm definitely confident in my abilities and, you know, my skills and, you know, my experiences and all of that. But for now, I feel like I want to go back just to, you know, maintain an income, not necessarily to like start fighting to climb that ladder and being obsessed about it like I was before.
Yes.
So yeah, I feel like as a woman, as a mom, there comes a time where you just have to know when to take, you know, just a step back.
Yes.
Just remove your feet from the brake a little bit. Just, you know, just a little bit, and just prioritize what's important. And for me right now, it's my family, my kids, and just my home. That's what's important. So yeah.
That's amazing. And I really love that example that you just gave about even removing your food from the brake, because whether you're going to from point A to point B, destination A to destination B, and you are taking the bus, or you are cycling, or you're on the motorway, or you're on the road without the motorway but still driving, last you will arrive at destination.
Yes, you will.
So
you
then,
will.
hey, it's all about just
taking it easy,
redefining what are the priorities in that moment, and also just being okay with that.
And I am okay. I am okay. I think I've noticed that there is possibility. I can do it. I can thrive. I can do more.
Yeah.
But I just have to just take a break for now. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
That's so good. That's so good. And honestly, I just pray that you continue to thrive in motherhood and in your career. And, you know, like, you're just so ambitious that there's no doubt that everything that you do will be amazing and with excellence anyways. But that has brought us to the end of, you know, our chit chat.
That was lovely.
Yeah. Has that made you feel like as soon as I get home, I need to do my content and get it out there? Has it made you miss it?
Listen, speaking of that, I've got so many archived video on Instagram ready to be posted. It's just now to post them.
Well, when you go home and you start looking at the videos, just remember what you said to the viewers.
When I was pregnant, nobody knew I was pregnant.
Yeah.
I'm the kind of person who always like keep my pregnancy private until the baby is here, because it's just, you know, culturally, that's what we do. So during that time, I made a whole lot of content.
Wow.
You know, and the good thing with Instagram is like short videos. You don't necessarily have to do the long, you know, editing. So it's really quick to do. So I have got so many of them. I just have to start posting them. So
you do. Especially because despite the fact that was before, like, it still will have. It's still
relevant. Yeah. It's always relevant.
Someone out there.
It's always relevant. Yeah. Because the new moms are coming up every day. They want to see, you know, what other moms are doing, experiences. And I didn't mention I had my last baby at home.
Oh, I think I saw that. I saw the YouTube show.
I had, which is ridiculous. I remember when I had my son. So with my first son, I had an emergency C-section, and my second, I wanted to have a VBAC, which is what is called vaginal birth after a C-section, which is quite a risky, I guess, procedure to go through. Like, it's a risky way to have a baby, pretty much. Ideally, if you have a C-section, you want to continue with C-sections rather than now going to try to have a vaginal birth. Because there could be uterine rupture, there could be complications, pretty much. But I was determined because, you know, I'm very, you know, set in my ways. I was like, it's possible, right? If it's possible, why can't I do it? Let's do it. So I did it. It was terrible.
Really?
I was in labor for 48 hours.
Wow.
I pushed for over an hour.
Wow.
And when I tell you, at the end of that birth, I felt like I was beaten, and I felt like I can't even explain, but it was beautiful. Just knowing that I was capable of doing it, because I always have to prove myself. Knowing that I was capable of doing it,
Yeah.
I wasn't broken. Not that, you know, people who have kids by C-section are broken. It was just something I had to prove to myself that
Exactly.
I can have, because again, with my son, it was emergency. It wasn't supposed to happen. It just happened. So now I'm like, I'm in control. I'm going to do it my way. And I did it.
Yeah.
So finding out I was pregnant again with my third, I was scared. It's like, I don't want to go through this again, because I remember, they say you forget. It's a lie. No one forgets. Every mom knows. Nobody ever forgets, especially when you do it that close together. Because, like I said, I got pregnant with my third 4 months postpartum. So everything was still quite fresh.
Yeah.
And so I was like, just dreading the idea of labor, going through it again. I was like, oh God. I started contemplating to have like an elective C-section this time around. Like, I'm not going to, like, I've done it.
Yeah.
I know I'm capable of it. I've proved what I need to prove to myself. I'm good. And then it just, like, the easiest, most amazing labor I ever had. So yeah.
No, that's so good.
It was amazing. It really was. It really was.
Thank God. But okay, right. I'm going to give you an opportunity to plug your socials. Yeah.
So I'm Debbie Easy on all socials: Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. I don't have Twitter.
Okay.
And YouTube, Journey with Easy. So you can also find me via Debbie Easy. I know with YouTube have ads now.
Exactly.
You can also find me via Debbie Easy. So I'm Debbie Easy everywhere, pretty much. DEBYIZY. Debbie Easy.
Amazing. Yeah. And then I'll put it also in the description box anyways. But as always, thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Please be sure to like the video. Please be sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed, to join the family to be up to date with all the new videos that come out as well. And then leave us your comments in the comment section below, especially with what DEBA said in respect to like motherhood. Is that something that you could relate to, especially if you're watching, in respect to recruitment, you know, compliance? Do you have any questions? This is your person. She will answer it. But as always, I will see you all in the next one. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.
Bye.